Hey folks, how you doing?
Doing good?
Good. Come and check out the exhibit?
Yep.
This is what we make here. So the box sawmill. These are box boards. Cranberry boxes, mostly around here. Check out the saw blades. Let me wheel this out for you. Show you a little bit what it takes to make those little boxes. Cut trees, you know, mostly tops of trees. Bottoms of the trees get saved for the better lumber. Tops get made into the boxes. Try to pick that up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Takes a lot.
Yep. So how does that, like, spin? Like, what makes it? The water?
Oh, yeah. Then you can see the belts in there. It's a pulley system. It's water powered. Goes right through it. Take your arm right off.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Have a good day.
This is our blacksmith shop. It's a replica of a 19th century building that stood at the four corners in a sonnet, just down the street a little ways, until about 1947 when the building was moved to Berkeley. But we have the forge, we have a lot of original equipment in here that the gentleman inside will tell you about.
All right.
Yes.
Hi. What are you making?
We're trying to make a hook for a coat hanger, not a coat hanger, plant hanger.
So,
This goes up there the whole,
how hot is that right now?
pardon?
How hot is that right now?
About 400. Cools off awful quick. In order to weld it, we have to get it white hot, and that's up into 2,500 and 3,000 degrees. But in the old days, the old timers didn't know what degrees were. All they knew was the color. You look at the wood and the metal, and you could tell when it was hot enough.
What's the piece of equipment that you're using right now?
Well, that's a bellows. This is manufactured the air to blow in that forge. See if I don't blow it, you can see it. I think if you listen, you can hear it blow.
So that just makes it, keeps it going? Does it make it hotter, or it just keeps it going?
Right. More air you blow underneath there, the whiter that is, and it'll get that temperature right up to it's sprinkling. White hot, and high hot is when they can weld it together. Ricky now, he's making nails. You can see how they made the old antique nails by hand,
One by one?
one at a time.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine building enough nails for a whole house or a barn? We'll let Ricky take care of the forge. There's a little interesting thing here that we like to tell the children when they come over here. This unit here is the horseshoeing. And that gentleman over there, Freeman Sellers, and there's his shop right there. And that's what we built here, was an exactly replica of that old blacksmith shop, which built right here in the zone at Four Corners, across the station from the fire station. But what we like to show to the children is the difference between a horseshoe we have. This is for a big workhorse. Now that's a new one. See, it's got the kegs on it, all on it. And that's ready to put it onto a horse. This is the smaller one. And of course, we got some of those little ponies, come right down little. But the interesting thing to tell the children, which we like to tell them when we have the children from the school, 3rd grade, we like to explain to them the difference between a horseshoe and an ox shoe. Do you know the difference between an ox shoe and a horseshoe?
Can't say that I do.
Well, a horse has one shoe for each foot, okay? But an ox, and this is a pair of ox shoes for each foot. And they're split. And the interesting thing about this is that in the old days, when the old timers used the horse, the wagon, they could go up and down the wagon, and the road in the woods, they could go until they got in the mud. When they got a horse in the mud, he got his foot down there, he couldn't pull his foot up. You know why? Because a horse has a great big hoof. He gets down in the wood, and his ankle is small, just like a man, very small, and he couldn't pick it up. There'd be suction there, he couldn't get it up. So very often, they would lose the horse because he went down in the mud. So the old timers, when they'd get down to get wood or logs down in the woods, where it was muddy, they would use oxen. And now why do they use split shoes? Because an ox, when he's walking, like the deer, he's got double split hulls, okay? When he goes down, he gets down in the woods, and he goes to pull it up for the next stage in the mud, he's to go together. When he gets out, he's opened up, so he can pull it right with no suction. We like to bring this out and show it to children. Here's a smaller one, with a smaller horse. And then this here, of course, we've got a lot of the older things. Here's an interesting thing. I can remember as a boy seeing Mr. Freeman using one of these. Now, you know what he would do? When he was shoeing, this is where he'd have his, there's a special hammer that he would use to put the nails for a horse on his shoe. He would take and pull up his foot, and he would rest it right there, and he would bring it in, and he would dress his hoof and everything, get it all cleaned up, and then he could take it down and he'd put it here. Otherwise, the blacksmith would have to hold that up all the time, and it was a lot of weight. Now, the difference between a horse and an ox is a horse can run, he can work, he can stand on 3 legs, but an ox cannot. An ox, if you take one leg out, it's right over. So now they've invented in the old days this old ox pen, and this is where they put them in that days. They used to take an ox, put shoes in here, they lead him in here, put one of these bars in here, you see, because they put him in there, and then this device here, they could lift it up. Now we used to call that belly band. It would pick the ox up, hold him up so he wouldn't tip over. Then the blacksmith would take his leg and pull him up, and he wouldn't tip over because that was in there. This is very old.
Is this original? Like,
This is one of the originals. This comes from Dean Ramble's blacksmith shop in East Freetown. We were very fortunate in order to buy one. You can see how many times the horse went up over those planks there.
thank you very much.
Sure, you're welcome. Glad to see you.
The next building you're going to see is another replica building. It's a replica of the schoolhouse that was in East Freetown called the East School, or the Mason's Corner School, as more popularly called. This is the way it looked between 1894 and 1911 when it was remodeled again. We know it looked like this in 1894 because it burned in 1893. And they put a bell and a belfry on it in 1894, and this is how it looked for the next few years. We have some children playing, and you'll see a teacher inside.
You almost got it?
There we go.
see that? Okay, yeah. So you can be looking at different pictures. That's something funny. Okay. Now, good morning, boys and girls. Good morning. And I don't think you know what my name is. So every morning when you come in, you would be saying good morning. And who can read that for me? Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't hear that one. Mrs. Blake. Did you hear what she said? What was it? A Mrs. Blake. All right. So every morning when we come in, we'll say that. Now, why don't we stand and salute the flag this morning, because that's what we will do every morning when we come in. And we'll call opening exercises. Okay? All right, so let's stand up and we'll face the flag. Hands over our hearts. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you can really take your seat. When you came in this morning, you noticed I had some before, yeah. Yes, if it's necessary. You know where the bathroom is? All right, you can go for a walk. Make sure you come back. Okay. This morning you had 4 sentences to look over. And you're using correct usage, right? I'd like you to just write down the answer for number 1 and number 2. When you get to number 3, who can figure out for me what you were supposed to do there? Yeah. Okay, so you're supposed to write down the word that is misspelled and write it correctly. And you'll be doing that with 3 and number 4. So read the sentences carefully and look to see if you see a word that might need to be correctly spelled. I'll be with you in a minute. Now, while you were outside at the privy, I was giving directions, wasn't I? Right, so I have to give them again. You're going to be writing number 1 in the answer, number 2 in the answer, and number 3, you're going to have to read that sentence, and you're going to pick out a word that's misspelled. And then number 4, you're going to be doing the same thing. You'll just write the word. Okay, now I'm going over and I'm going to be working over here. So you pick the first one down.
The next building is going to be the carriage shed. That's our newest building. And it houses a ladder truck and a tractor. Just opened last year.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing good.
We do have I could mention that we do have a tractor that we've restored. It's a 1929 farm wall tractor. And it's just about complete now.
So they didn't use tires, they just had the...
No, they didn't have pneumatic tires, and they didn't have any hydraulics. All the machinery was lifted and what have you by hand. It did have a power takeoff for driving other types of equipment, for cutting silage and things like that, but it was pretty basic.
Yeah.
No power steering. Come to see our new carriage shed. It's a new last year, 2001, the year 2000. And we put the shed up to store all our miscellaneous equipment. In this area, we have horse-drawn farm implements, which involve cultivators, plows, harrows, and things like that. We have some hand tools in the back there, such as grindstones and scythes and boxes and what have you. This is a motorized garden tractor, probably 1940 versions, right around there, just after World War II. This is a featured item here in the carriage shed, and it's a ladder wagon that the firemen used to hand draw to the fire. It was purchased in 1988. It was used for many years until they bought it a Rio fire wagon. This carried buckets and lanterns and ladders and pikes and all different hooks for opening up the building to let the smoke out so the firemen could go in. And I don't know exactly how far the firemen pulled this, but it wouldn't surprise me. They probably went at least a mile from the fire station, maybe further.
No fun there.
No fun there. It was all hard work. This in the foreground here is, many farmers used to weigh their produce on a scale like this. This is called a Fairbanks platform scale. And they were quite accurate and used for many, many years. Next to it is a little seeder that is used for planting a variety of seeds, corn, peas, string beans, things like that. This green machine here, believe it or not, is a self-propelled lawnmower. It consists of a reel-type mower with a roller in the back. It's all chain-driven, and it has an old-fashioned one-cylinder engine, gasoline engine. And it's a very, very heavy machine, but I guess it was better than doing it by hand. In those days, they used scythes and things like that, so this was quite refined for the period. I don't know, do you have any questions?
No, pretty much got it all.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
There's a lot to see here, and you found that out.
Yep.
Pleasure meeting you. We're glad you came. Hope you'll come again and bring your friends to the museum.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We
Bye.
appreciate it. Bye.